The whole Cool Schools idea was a centerpiece of my campaign back when Oregon had double-digit unemployment because providing the opportunity to retrofit our public school buildings for energy efficiency is a very smart way to put people back to work, to save money, and also to improve our schools. Since I came into office, we've created just over 16,000 jobs here in the state of Oregon, and unemployment rates have continued to drop, but the fact is that recovery has been spotty. And many parts of our state, particularly in rural communities, have not benefited from this recovery. And it's very, very important that we make sure that the economic benefits of recovery reach every corner of our state and every county in our state. And now that the Cool Schools legislation is passed, we have a very, very effective way to do that.
So in 2007, we started energy upgrades in our district, me being the skeptic, but I went along for the ride a little bit, and we decided to upgrade our lighting in all 3 of our elementary schools. So I went along with it because I thought, these lights are really awful. They convinced me that I'd also see some energy savings as well. After that time, we then began a more aggressive approach because we had passed a bond. And so since that time, we've installed energy efficient boilers in all 5 of our schools that had boilers. We've upgraded the lighting in all of our facilities. We've added full supervisory controls in our 3 elementary schools and our middle school. We've updated windows, we've replaced hot water tanks, and all along I was the skeptic about the energy savings because I just needed new boilers. We had boilers like every other school district in the state. When every day they ran in the winter, it was a good day. I'd show up to work most days knowing that we had 1 boiler down somewhere, and in the coldest of days, there's times you wonder, are we going to be able to start school today? Our boilers range from 40 years old to 80 years old. We believe that we've saved about we would be spending about $59,000 more in electricity this year had we not done all of these energy upgrades. $59,000 for Dallas School District is a lot of money. That's a big savings. Natural gas, because of our energy efficient boilers, next year in our budget, we have reduced our budget by $93,000. So huge savings in natural gas. To us who has cut 1 teacher, that means, or 25 teachers, that means 1 less teacher that we're cutting. So because of our energy projects, we have 1 more teacher working and on the ground in our school district. If you walked into one of our classrooms pre-controls work and post-controls work, you would find a climate where you could breathe in the classroom. When they're in the middle of this at our middle school this year, we would go in 1 classroom that had the adequate indoor air coming in, 30-plus middle schoolers. Imagine how that smells, but adequate indoor air or outdoor air coming in, and into a classroom that did not have the controls work completed yet. And we would walk in and you'd feel this, whew, and you could feel the carbon dioxide in the air in those classrooms, something we never noticed before until we really began with the adequate controls work and indoor or outdoor air coming into our classrooms. We've also updated with special lighting for our special education classrooms, for our students with the highest sensory disorders. Again, phenomenal difference when you use different types of lighting for those kids. Our district maintenance staff can now monitor our building boilers from a distance. We have a power outage in town. I call my district maintenance, say, have you checked our boilers? He says to me, yes, Christy, they're up and running. Versus calling in, having overtime, having to go out to those buildings to make sure they're running. 1 click on their computer, they know every boiler in the district is running. Another big and huge change is, or big part of this was putting local contractors to work. I brought 2 local contractors with me today, DC Electric. Justin Moore from DC Electric is here in the back, and also Sean from Forbes Plumbing. And when Governor Kitzhaber talked about what it does to the economy, I will say I brought the examples with me today. When I talked to Sean about attending with me, he says, I need to be there because this work saved my company. So that was like, Wow, he had 3 employees that were on unemployment before we had these projects. He brought them back to work. His business is up 30%, and he has all of those contractors or those employees still working. The same is true for Justin at DC Electric. We came at a time when his company was struggling with the economy, and he got to put people back to work. He got all his employees to 40 hours a week, and he hired more people. So those are 2 examples in Little Dallas, Oregon. So just again, I'm especially excited about this initiative for the school districts in Oregon, and I would encourage superintendents who are skeptical like me to take the risk, because the risk is worth it for local contractors, the risk is worth it for learning for students, and the risk is worth it for the money savings they'll get on the other side of it. So thank you very much for pushing this.
I'm going to give a couple of legislators an opportunity to speak, but that's going to be a hard act to follow. At all. I just want to point out the chart up here. Those blue dots are actually the school districts. You can see the geographic distribution. We have probably in the neighborhood of $15 million that we're going to invest this summer. And what I want to be clear about is this is just a down payment on an effort to do large-scale sort of community-level retrofits. We have 2 billion square feet of industrial and public building stock in Oregon and Washington alone. Imagine if we could finance the retrofit of those buildings, what that would do to the building trades and the ripple effect for our economy and the cost savings for schools and other segments of our economy.